Hey, y'all, it's Rick here with Uncommon Communion. Yes, another video for you on Saturday. I really do like writing. It just is sometimes the evenings get kind of busy and full. And this Friday evening, it's now Saturday as I record this, but this Friday evening was no exception. But I wanted to make a video earlier in the day today. Well, yesterday, Friday, because each day, as I've shared, I read from three different books and actually a couple more sources as well. These are kind of daily devotionals. And today, all three of them had a message that I wanted to share with you. Let's begin as we always begin by recognizing, realizing, celebrating, and affirming that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of God and each other. So I know I have been getting quite political on these videos. I'm not going to do that tonight, except to say, holy crow, did you see the story about trying to invade or a SEAL ops going into North Korea and shooting innocent people and then trying to cover it up? I mean, I think it was the New York Times that broke that today. Absolutely insane. This was during the first T-Rump term. And in any kind of a sane world where we weren't dealing with the ongoing insanity every single day, um, that would have gotten major headlines, major scandal, but it just kind of fades, just kind of passes in. And there you are. So, like I promised, I am going to turn away from politics for this missive and focus on three short little reflections that, again, I think are so helpful to me as I continue to explore and discover what it means for me to be a planetary pilgrim on the way of Christ. And again, I hope that this resonates with you. I hope that as you watch these, and maybe some of you have been watching for a while and following for a while, maybe some of you are new and welcome, especially if you are new. I really hope that this is touching something in you that is helping you realize that two simultaneous things I think are very healthy and very important. One is we recognize our earthlinghood, if you will, right? Recognizing that we are all creatures of this earth and this solar system and this galaxy and so on and so forth. And as such, when we connect to the rhythms and connect to the life and the world around us, we are connected to a deeper reality. And we realize that everything is connected within that deeper reality. So, first and foremost, I think it's looking deeply. And secondly, for me, it is being a follower on the way of Christ. And what does that mean? That means mysticism. That means putting love and justice and compassion and empathy first and foremost before all else. And if you are a pilgrim, a planetary pilgrim on the way of Buddha, that might be something a little different, but the same idea. If you're a planetary pilgrim on the way of the 12 steps, similarly, planetary pilgrim on the way of Muhammad, on the way of Islam, right? It is all connected. We all need a way because y'all, in big, large, significant places, we've lost our way and it shows. And that's why we are where we are. And we're not going to get out of this wilderness. We're not going to get out of this darkness until more and more of us individually and then collectively, or collectively and also with an internal conversion, begin to commit to these bigger things, begin to commit to a deeper way of living than just the superficiality distractions that just bombard us all the time. So, enough of an introduction. Let me do as promised, read you those three little reflections. So the first one comes from the Centering Prayers book that I read each day. And this is what the author says. It's a short one today. Womb of love, womb, W-O-M-B, of love. Bear in me the fruit of your presence. Show me the way to life in you as I welcome your life in me. Yeah, there's that one part of scripture. I think St. Paul writes it. I forget where it is in his epistles, but he's talking about creation groaning in expectation of birth, like childbirth, that creation is longing to be born and reborn. And it is Christ, through him all things were made, is what we say in the creed, right? And it is through the cosmic Christ that all is connected. And that is what this prayer writer is saying, asking the Creator, the one through whom all is created, to bear in me that fruit of your presence. I love that. I love that. So hold that thought. Here's the second one. This is from the Ignatian Book of Days, the daily reflections that I've read to you from before. And so this is a very short little quote from Jean-Pierre de Caussade, who's a Jesuit, I think from a ways back. I'm not sure if he was a saint or not, but I think this is a fairly historic Jesuit. And he writes, "There is not a moment in which God does not present himself under the cover of some pain to be endured, some consolation to be enjoyed, or of some duty to be performed." So God is present under the cover of some pain to be endured, consolation to be enjoyed, or duty to be performed. And this was helpful to me as I read it on Friday morning, because I was teaching this week. I was training. I work for a nonprofit and I do trainings. And it was a 3-day training. And this particular group has been tough. And there's been just a number of other things. And a couple more things showed up today. Somebody who was supposed to help me wasn't able to make it. And the space that I was using was double booked. And we had to, it was just those things. But it was also an individual who I have been struggling with. She has been tough to work with. And I think tough for the other 6 trainees. And this was helpful because I saw working with her, bringing her the rest of the way through, was a duty I needed to perform. And hearing this, remembering this, recognizing that God is present in that, certainly present in her. She's a child of God, a very annoying and difficult child of God, to be sure, but she is a child of God. And therefore I need to treat her with dignity and respect and compassion and kindness, right? And also, for me, it is this duty, and God is present in the duty, right? So God is present in multiple ways, in her, in the task, and I got through it. I did lose my patience once, but it was appropriate, and I think it was necessary. But like all things, this too shall pass, and that did pass, and we'll see what comes of that. But yes, so important to remember. And the writer who reflects on these quotes says, of that quote that I read to you, it is a maxim that wonderfully expresses the essence of the Ignatian outlook. God is found in all things, and we love God by doing deeds of love. I'll never forget, y'all. It was one of my favorite classes when I was in graduate school at Boston College. That's where I got my master's in religious education back at the end of the 1990s. And one of my teachers, many of my teachers, but one in particular, blew my mind. He said, in the passage where Jesus says, love God and love your neighbor as yourself, that and really is meant to be a by. So love God with your whole heart, body, mind, and soul, and by, there I go, by loving your neighbor as yourself. And that just changed my world. And I think that's what this prayer and this reminder gets at. So I'm going to close with a mystical prayer. And this is from the Meister Eckhart book that I also read from. It was a good one today, y'all. I mean, 3 back to back to back. And I needed it this morning, Friday morning, when I was reading these. I needed that little boost to get me through the last piece of what had been a challenging week. So here's what Eckhart says, and we'll close and let this be our prayer. We are born only once in this world, twice in you, O God. And in this we are like you, because you are born not once, but again and again in all that was and is and will be. And when you are born in me, I become who you are, and you become me. Yeah, we're created in the image and likeness of God, right? And we are becoming, as we continue to open ourselves to recognizing God's presence in everyone and everything and everywhere, we are becoming more and more like God. And Christ, who became and continues to become incarnate in each and every aspect of creation, especially humans, every human, right? God becomes me. I become God. God becomes me. Whew, powerful stuff, y'all. Powerful stuff. So, all right, it is bedtime. I am pooped. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. We'll be back with you soon. Blessing and good. Be gentle. Be bold. Contradictory there, perhaps, but be bold. Let's do that one. Be bold. Be gentle to yourself. Be bold in the world. And be well.